Well, my knowledge about prophecy was very little. I was up late one night and I saw the program come on BET. And at the time in my life that I happened to be watching it, it was, for lack of a better term, it was right on time. So I can't say I found it. I would say the prophetic found me. Just going through a lot of financial difficulties. I believe my mother she had gotten laid off from her job, and I was trying to help her out and pay for school out of my pocket. I'm like, Lord, I can't do this by myself. And it was just too much at one time to handle. So I'm like, okay, I have to go back to what I know will sustain me when the world won't. I made the phone call and got my free written word of prophecy. And from then on, I just kept sowing. And that was back in 2004. The reason why I stayed connected with sowing my seed is because the master prophet was on point. Everything he said was dead on. It was speaking directly to things I had gone through in my past and things that I was experiencing in the present, like current situations, speaking on the financial issues that I was enduring or what things were to come. And it was within my spirit, matching the things that I wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, this can't be anything but God, because there's stuff that he was touching on that I hadn't talked to anybody about. In 2010, I received a prophetic word from one of the members of the company of prophets about my mother. My mother suffered a stroke, and I was at a place where I didn't have the finances to get home to see her, which was only an hour and 15 minutes away. So I took my last dollar, and it was all change, and I put it in an envelope. Banks were closed. It was a Sunday. I couldn't get to the bank to put it in. And I called in to the conference call line, and Prophetess Kelly was on. And I asked her, I was texting her in the chat room. I messaged her in the chat room if she could pray for my mom, because I got a phone call at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and my mom said she was in the hospital, and they said they found a spot on her brain, and she said they don't know what it is yet. So I told her to keep me updated, and I was going to try and figure something out, find some kind of way I could come home, but there was no way. So I messaged Prophetess Kelly and told her that I had my seed, and it was all I had left. I said, it's in the envelope. I'm going to put it in the mail tomorrow. And I said, I just need the members of the company of prophets to pray for my mom. And my mom called me probably about an hour and a half or 2 hours later. And they had done MRIs and CAT scans and run all kinds of tests. And they said that this pea-sized spot on her brain was in fact a stroke that she had had from a reaction from a medication that her doctor had prescribed, whatever. And as I was on the phone with Prophetess Kelly, she said that she's going to walk away from this. She'll walk out of the hospital and be perfectly fine. And I remember calling my mother and telling her to remember who your father is, and know that we're praying for you and keeping you lifted up in prayer. And I told her, I've called into the conference call line, and I've got the company of prophets praying for you as well. I said, you'll be fine. You just got to remember who your father is. I think it was 2 days later, doctors had run a whole gamut of tests, and they said that they could not figure out why there weren't any physical residual effects of her stroke. For the spot that she had, it would have killed her. She did all her physical tests. The only reason they could tell that she even had a stroke is from the spot on the MRI. To this day, she doesn't have any physical effects from her stroke. There were 7 doctors in her room, 7, all looking at her and just completely baffled, because they had no idea how she was healed. And I told her, The doctor, I think one doctor in particular told her she was very lucky, and she said, no, I'm very blessed. I expect nothing but great things going forward from the prophetic. Nothing but great things.